Hello homesteaders, how are you doing? Today is August 29th. We've had a pretty dry summer. Big part of July was extremely dry. We had a week and a half of very decent rains in mid-August, and now we're back to no rain for a while. So since the soil has been dried or dry-ish, I've decided to harvest my potatoes today. The plants had died. This is from an area 4 feet by 6 feet, so 24 square feet, and I got almost a bushel. I planted different varieties and I wanted to show you what I got. So the way I do potatoes is I dig as deep as I can get. My beds, if you see there, my beds are about a foot high. So I dig almost a foot down. I put in my potatoes in rows, and then I just cover them with dirt and top of with mulch and cover with straw, and that's that. Then I don't do anything much through the season. So these are my results. I planted 2 rows of Lehigh Golds. These are Lehighs. Beautiful yield. Lehigh is becoming one of my favorite varieties. It's obviously a central PA variety, so it does really well in our weather, in our climate, and they're beautiful potatoes. Look how uniform they are, big, they have a good flavor, they have a good texture. I planted 2 rows, I bought those in A's, and some of you that know me know that I plant my potatoes whole. I don't cut them. So I think, comparing to what I've done in other years when I did cut my potatoes and cured them and planted them, I get a better yield, I get more potatoes, and I get larger potatoes. So these are my Lehighs. I also planted some German butterballs. They came out very small. I know German butterballs are not like the largest potatoes in the world, but they're some of my favorites because they have an excellent texture and flavor. So these are German butterballs. I found them. So these, I didn't find them. Well, kind of, I did. So these were volunteers. Not this season, the season before. I found them as volunteers in my garden beds, obviously from a harvest that I didn't completely dig out, and so I transplanted them to a place where I wanted to keep them, and I got a small nice harvest, and I kept some to plant the next year, this year. So these are my German butterballs. They're not as well adapted to the weather here, and I mean, they're a lot smaller. We had a very dry season, so I expect small potatoes when there's a dry season. I do water, but honestly, I try not to water too much. So I didn't water my potatoes as much as maybe someone that has an irrigation system does. Then I also planted some red Marias, which again, same thing, found them as volunteers. 2 seasons ago, planted them, harvested them, we ate some, we kept some. Red Marias are a small variety. I got a decent yield for what I put in. Red Marias have a very white flesh, they're delicious. They have a very nice texture, they're also one of my favorites. And well, I got a modest harvest. But again, given that these came from volunteers, I had like a couple of tubers left over and planted them. And these beautiful things, they're this unknown blue potato variety I got from the farmer's market last year. It was the last that the farmer had, so he just asked me if he could dump in my bag the little itsy bitsy potatoes that no one would buy from him. I said, yeah, sure, go ahead. I was planning to cook them, but they kind of were left over in the crisper, and then I was like, you know what? I could plant those. So I kept them in a bag in the crisper until the next season, and this is it. Beautiful. These have a beautiful blue, a blue flesh that will. It's more of a deep purple when it's raw. It turns into more of a pastel dark blue when it's cooked. But they are fun. They're fun to have. So these are my potatoes this year. Just for you to have an idea, this is probably the size of the potatoes I planted. This and smaller. Okay, and I just didn't. I didn't want to throw them away. Now, if you don't want to eat something like this, you can choose to put it in a paper bag in your crisper or in your root cellar and keep it out of the light and in a cool environment until the next season. And you can cheat them or not and plant them in spring when potatoes are ready to go in, or you could even plant them now in fall, which is how the Irish method is. You know, they planted them in fall, they left them there all year, and then they harvested them whenever they were ready. I particularly don't find in my garden that there's a huge difference between planting them in fall compared to planting them in early spring. They're ready to harvest when they're ready to harvest, and I don't get more if I left them from the fall. But you know, if you want to just put them in now so you don't think about it anymore, that's always a possibility. Okay, well, I hope this is helpful to some of you, and if you have any question you can ask. You can either send me an email or left a comment. And that is all. I hope you continue to enjoy what we have left of the summer. Happy gardening. Bye.